Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Joe Schaefer, Sarah Cowgill, Jeff Charles, and Andrew Moran. And this is the Conservative Five, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. Let's face it, Americans are getting mighty tired of the mandated face coverings. Recently, there's been an unmasking of the masses in several states, and the hysterics and ever-changing edicts from Dr. Fauci aside, people are saying enough already. Meanwhile, the president, glory be, has given his tacit approval to ditching the masks so long as we follow the rules. How nice. The question that lies before our panel today is, will we be able to have our backyard barbecues this summer without the goon squad coming for us? Jeff, your governor just declared Texas open for business. South Dakota never closed, and many other red states have been without restrictions for some time. Do you see any other states ready to follow the leader?
Yes, I do. I think pretty much all of them are, except for the really deep blue states. And I think even they will come around because I think that their residents are getting tired of it. Look, I mean, everybody was freaking out when Governor Greg Abbott said that he was going to open Texas up. Guess what? When I go to my coffee shop where I go to write, I'm still wearing a mask. If I go to the store, I'm still wearing a mask. If I go to a restaurant, I'm still wearing a mask. Why is that? Because these businesses are still requiring masks to enter the store. So this is the free market taking care of it rather than the government. If you want to go to a place that doesn't require masks, you can make that choice, and that's how it should be. I was just in Miami this past weekend, and Florida is an open state, although the city of Miami does have a mask mandate. But guess what? Outside, a lot of people aren't wearing masks. But when they go inside, they put it on. Or if they're in crowded areas, they're putting it on. People, for the most part, are being responsible about this. So the notion that we need all of these mask mandates and we need Uncle Joe to get out there and scold us and wag his finger at us about wearing masks is absurd.
Well, I'm going to have to go to Andrew because he touched on free markets, and that's your bailiwick. Andrew.
No, well, there's nothing more to add because Jeff's right. Nothing's stopping you from wearing a mask, whether it's, going to a business or just walking down the street. You see so many people wearing masks in their cars all by themselves, So, but I think another thing that conservative media has not done a good job on is that they're not touching on the coincidence theme of the pandemic and the Biden era. As soon as Joe Biden becomes president, you have all these states suddenly lifting their restrictions and removing their lockdowns. Andrew Cuomo was talking about, how you can't lock down forever as soon as Joe Biden became president. Gavin Newsom is opening up quicker than Cardi B or quicker than you could say Cat in the Hat. So I think Penel Bird, who seems to be our COVID correspondent these days, he did a great job reporting on the World Health Organization admitting that the PCR tests were useless, that they likely inflated coronavirus numbers. Now, they finally updated the whole PCR test and the way they test patients with coronavirus, and now the cases are coming down. Maybe it's conspiratorial, but it makes you think that, hey, were they inflating the numbers because they want to make Trump look bad or want to blame Trump for everything? But and now that the economies are opening up, the growth is going to occur, jobs are going to be created, just as you saw in the February jobs report, and GDP is going to skyrocket, and everyone is going to claim that Joe Biden was a savior of the day, that his 100-day mask mandate was the cure for everything that we needed, and he's the one who created the vaccines, and he's one who ended the pandemic once and for all. So the media is gonna do that. And one other thing I'd like to say is that the doomers on the left, they kept saying how these super spreader events were going to happen, and you're going to have dead bodies after the Super Bowl, and you're going to have dead bodies in Iowa, and all these things are going to happen. And guess what? You look at all the charts, and all the charts are just coming down in these states that are opening up. And what's interesting too is that if you compare the states had these restrictions, the states that didn't, you look at the numbers when it comes to mask mandates, and the numbers were similar, and nothing really changed. So the scientists and these politicians think they have the answers, but they can't explain why one state has similar numbers that it's open compared to another state that has similar numbers that's closed. Scott Atlas, actually, I'd like to say that he delivered a speech at Stanford University virtually recently, and he went through all the data, and everyone was complaining about how much he doesn't know what he's doing, but you can't deny what he was saying and all the facts that he was delivering.
Joe, I know you've been a big and long time fan of masking.
I'm glad Jeff brought up Miami. I'm here in Palm Beach, and everyone's hailing our Governor DeSantis, and he's done, he's probably been the best on this. But, I don't consider myself a free man. I have to wear a mask every time I go anywhere. If I'm indoors, if I want to buy toilet paper, I got to put on a mask. Hearing about the free market is nice and all, but at some point, when it's been pretty much proven that this stuff isn't working, it isn't effective, can we stop doing this to the citizens, making us do this? And what I find interesting the most is the federal local detachment here. You've got federal people, Fauci, these authorities saying double mask, at a time when the American citizens are saying, I'm getting tired, you're pushing me too far. I'm getting tired of wearing this damn thing. And the heat is going to be on these local officials, these governors. Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, she's backpedaling. I wonder why. She's just like Andrew Cuomo in New York, facing, they're saying possible criminal charges over the way she handled the nursing home situation in her state. When you start talking about criminal charges for local officials, that kind of tends to make them slacken off on their authoritarian tendencies. And nobody enjoyed that more than Gretchen Whitmer. So I think we are at the saturation point, and it's going to be local. The feds are going to be completely clueless. They're going to keep telling you wear 4 or 5 masks. But on the local level, governors, mayors, they're going to be, after a while, the people are going to be so angry, and you have to live among these people. And so that's what I think it's just going to start unraveling in each individual state, and an upset Washington, D.C. is not going to be able to do anything about it.
Sarah, I wonder if we're creating many, many young people to become libertarians. This weekend, we took our family to Orlando, one of the huge theme parks, Universal, which I frankly have been avoiding for the last 20 years. But anyway, we went, and it was wonderful. But it was interesting because the two people we ran into, one guy was standing outside the elevator because they only let families or groups in one at a time, but he was all by himself, no mask, young kid, early 20s. And we said, you're welcome to come in our elevator if you want to. And he said, thanks. And he came in, he said, probably 4 masked Nazis will stop me before I even get to the water taxi.
Well, I seem to see a pattern here, and that is all of you people live in cities. I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in the sticks. Our towns are, the largest town closest to me is 800 people. The next largest town is 33,000. Maybe if you're in the cities, even in the red states, you might, have a more liberal bent. We shut down like good little people when this first started a year ago. We were shut down for 6 weeks. We opened back up. We don't wear masks. We don't care if you wear a mask, if you're old and you think you need one, or if you're just weird and you're wearing one in your car. We don't care.
By the way,
but we don't wear them.
So weird, isn't it? I mean, to see a person by himself in a car.
It is, and it happened. You get some, relatively not bright people following Fauci's rules, but we don't do that. We haven't done it in a year. The only time I've worn a mask is when I was visiting the Donner family in Virginia. That's the only time I've donned a mask since all this started. We don't do that here. We don't do it in the small towns. We don't need to. We don't have an epidemic. You might need to in the cities, but, a blanket edict has only pissed people off in the sticks, in the red states. The silent majority is still grumbling. They're over in the corner. They're receding. They're mad. They're making lists, but this has nothing to do with us. It just doesn't. And so we didn't comply.
The permanent damage is going to happen.
Recommendations, we didn't comply with those.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, the permanent damage on small business is going to be horrific. You see the growing number of bankruptcies occurring all over the United States. In Toronto, up here, they have bankruptcies, on nearly every single corner in the downtown core. And, I wonder if, maybe Scott Cosenza, our legal affairs editor, could answer this, but could these small businesses ever seek redress against these governments that are forced to shut them down? And these temporary benefits, not going to do much in the end, because you have all the cumulative bills bills. All these businesses are going to have catch up, and they have the inflationary aspect of all the government having to play catch up, and all these utility companies have to play catch up. So life is going to get more expensive, but I really feel for the small businesses that suffered because of the result of the tyrannical government.
All right, let's go around the horn real quickly. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was just going to add really quickly. I mean, a lot of small businesses are shutting down for good. They will not be able to come back because they aren't going to be able to come back from this. And these progressives, I mean, they say they care so much about minorities. This is affecting minority-owned businesses disproportionately. And those businesses, like I said, they're not going to be able to come back, and they're not going to be able to get any recompense from the government. So they talk about how the virus itself is affecting minority communities more, but they're not talking about how it's affecting minority Americans economically.
It's because these white progressives, if they're able to stay at home and work from home, having their lattes delivered, all that stuff, they're not in the real world. They don't have to worry about the small businesses. They can just listen to government, tell everybody to wear your mask, and be the Minnie Mouse that the government wants them to be.
All right, so let's go around the horn. By Memorial Day, who believes that 25%, or no, let's say 25 states, 50% of the United States will be maskless? Joe.
I really can't give you a number. I really like what Sarah brought up, and that Jeff and Andrew just kind of buttressed, is there's an urban-rural divide in this country, and I never really thought of it in terms of the mass consensus. This is the urban-rural divide here. So I think it is going to go that way. If you are on the grid, if you are in a dense urban area, you'll wear your mask forever. You'll do whatever they tell you. It's part of your lifestyle. You're probably a germaphobe. You're not used to walking on the grass with your bare feet. So it's the split in America. These people wear masks forever, and people who are outside of the grid, they want to take them off immediately. And so that's where we are as a country.
All right, Andrew, play ball with me. 50% of the states maskless by Memorial Day, yes or no?
No.
Sarah?
I think yes. I think it's enough of a drain that people running for re-election are going to need to step up their game here. Nobody's going to want to re-elect the guy who put him in a mask. It's like a muzzle.
All right, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm with Sarah. I mean, there is a reason why Governor Gavin Newsom is in trouble right now. People are sick of this. People on the left are sick of this. So yes, for politicians to be able to survive, they're going to have to ease up on some of these laws. Now, again, while they may remove mask mandates, it does not mean that private businesses are not going to still be taking precautions. So yes, there will still be masks, but I think 50% is an accurate number as far as government mandates go.
All right, Andrew, you said no, right?
Correct. Yes. No, I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm with Andrew. The answer is no. So anyway, I'm personally looking forward to our Independence Day barbecue. We plan to celebrate the freedom of a maskless merriment, no matter what state we're in, and always on the 4th of July. We love to play proud to be an American. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, or on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all our TV productions. Thanks so much for tuning in, and remember to surf on over to libertynation.com. Sign up for our new member zone, just $29.99 for the entire year. That's only 9 cents a day, folks. And thanks so much for watching C5, a production of libertynation.com, conservative news where truth matters.